The best way to understand this story or any story is dramatize. I would advise my students, if all those students, those who are watching this particular lecture and presentation and video, that better you try to dramatize the story. Dramatize means you have many characters in this story. Dasa is there, four sons are there, mother is there, charmer is there, that old beggar is also there. So what you can do, you can be such characters, and you can memorize the dialogues, and you can perform the entire story in a drama form. This is how you would learn. And if you learn in that particular way, then situation will come where you need not mug the questions and answers. This would be the best way to learn the stories, and byproduct you will enjoy also, because we might not like to read, but we do like to present the story, because visual media is very interesting, and it is very attractive. Anyways, so this is one type of advice that you can work on, that you can dramatize the story. And once you dramatize the story, try to dramatize the story in English. Even if you cannot dramatize, or you cannot do this in English, try to do this in Gujarati and then translate it into English. By that way you will improve your language also. So many things you will find grammatically or linguistically unfair, but once you try it, you will know what happens. Anyways, let us move on with the next slide. As we saw that now there is a situation where all people were standing in the veranda. In that particular time, Dasa enters. Now we have reached on paragraph number 4. When Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot whose mouth was sealed with the slab of stone. Again one sudden entry. Although Dasa is there, not a new character, but this time Dasa has entered with some new look. He has something in his hand. Again there is a secret, there is a mystery. What that water pot contains, there is a mystery. So all these people, and see, Dasa has chosen the time very carefully. Dasa has chosen the time where all people are all tired. They have, we can say they have defeated, and they have reached on the situation where they have accepted that now they might not find the snake, or they might not be able to hunt it out. This is the time. In this particular time, Dasa appears suddenly, all of a sudden. Dasa, please keep in mind that Dasa is the comic character. Dasa, you cannot say Dasa is a hero or a protagonist or a villain or any. He is just a clown type character who makes people laugh. And you will also find that there are minimum number of dialogues in this story. Majority it is description by R.K. Narayan, and that description is of the characters, those characters who are comic. And R.K. Narayan makes his readers laugh and enjoy the story by describing their behavior, their attitude, and their style, so on and so forth. How they are sitting, how they are doing the works, how they are searching the snack, so on and so forth. So the best way to read this story is visualization. This is one of the reasons why this particular presentation has not any picture. There is no picturization presentation. Another benefit of reading the story without pictures is your visualization capacity will increase. Right now, or if there are 10 listeners or 10 viewers looking at this lecture or this particular video, so there are 10 different images of Dasa. There are 10 different images of a lady. There are 10 different images of a snake charmer. There are 10 different images of a bungalow and a snake. This is called visualization. Simple psychology. If I say apple, so the last image of that particular fruit apple comes to your mind screen. This is called visualization. Simple logic. So this is the benefit of this particular reading, and particularly and especially when you read R.K. Narayan, so his characters are very alive character. There are, it is not boring or monotonous type of. If you look at this particular paragraph, I am adding all these discussions and suggestions, because it is very important to match all these things with this story and other stories written by R.K. Narayan. Let us move on. When Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot whose mouth was sealed with a slab of stones. I told you about the visualization, because you have to visualize how people were sitting, how they were tired, what were their facial expression, what were their facial fatigue, what were their facial, tiresome, all these things. And in this particular time, Dasa entered with a water pot. What it contained, no one knows. He put the pot down and said, look at the action, he just put the pot down. And again, as I said, that take Dasa as a clown or comic character. He makes us laugh, but he himself never laughs. He does each and every action very seriously and carefully. So what he does, he put down the pot down and said, I have caught him in this. Now this is a very shocking declaration, announcement. I have caught him in this. The word him is used since this is a story. Since although snake is an animal, but we can use the pronouns like him and her and them even for the animals only when it is a story. Anyway, so Dasa now, surprisingly declares that he has caught the snake in that water pot. Now look at the strategy he is describing. I saw him peeping out of it. Means Dasa said that he saw the snake peeping out. The meaning of peeping out is to look out of small openings. This is the meaning of peep out. So Dasa said that he saw the snake peeping out of it. I saw him before he could see me. This is how Dasa convinces, because right now Dasa has just declared that he has caught the snake. But this is a thing to think and ponder over, that people trying for at least half a day, they have not caught the snake, or they can have not caught the snake still. And how suddenly Dasa could catch the snake. Therefore Dasa has to convince the people, no? Therefore what he said? He said that I saw him before he could see me. Means Dasa said that if the snake could see me first, then it might have run away, or I might not be able to catch it out. But I am. He explained at length. At length means in detail, and strategy means plan. So he at length, explained the strategy he had employed to catch and seal up the snake in the pot. This is how in this paragraph we can see that one more sudden entry, but this time it is not the entry of a person. This time there is an entry of one shocking news. This is a shocking news. So in this short story, at a short interval or at a short medieval, you find the entries, and those entries are sudden entries. Those entries are surprising entries. First entry was of a cyclist. It was surprising because that entry announced about the arrival of the snake. Second and sudden surprising entry was of Dasa, because in that particular time he was sleeping. When all people were in agitation, Dasa was sleeping. Therefore it was a surprising entry. Second surprising entry was of that college boy who announced and who declared some general knowledge news that every year 30,000 people die, so on and so forth. So that boy, then the entry of beggar, then the entry of that snake charmer. So you see that in every paragraph, after some time or after a short period of time, one by one the characters are coming. The other technical reason of such sudden entries is that this is a short story. So keeping the res, milieu and moment in time, RK Narayan has to, finish it up somewhere else. Therefore, look at the style that he has maintained and look at the techniques in which all the characters are accommodated. All the characters, their dialogues, their situation, everything is justified. This is the technique of RK Narayan. So, as we were explaining, that Dasa explained the strategy that he had employed to catch and seal up the snake in the pot. They stood at a safe distance and gazed on the pot. The meaning of gaze is to stare, means to look something at one vision or continuously. That is called gazed. Now Dasa has declared that he has caught the snake in that pot. So now, as all believe that that pot contains a snake, there is a snake in the pot. Each and everyone believed that. Each and everyone now takes it for granted that Dasa has finally caught the snake. Therefore, they stood at safe distance because they still are in that particular trauma and the fear that snake might come out of that spot and bite, because information of 30,000 people dying every year due to cobra bite is still alive in everyone's mind. So that fear actually makes them stand at a safe distance and they were gazing on the pot. Each and everyone was curious and each and everyone wanted to know how the cobra looked, and naturally everyone liked to see. Dasa had a glow of a champion on his face. Very important portion of the story. Right now, Dasa had a glow of a champion, means the first let us understand the meaning. Meaning is feeling like a winner or feeling like achieving a great victory. Naturally, Dasa has got a great victory because he has caught the snake which all could not catch in for the whole day. So he had a glow of a champion. But please mind well that this particular action, keeping the glow on his face, is actually Dasa's art. Bit perplexing description. Why so? Because there is only one person who knows whether that pot contains a snake or not, and that one person is Dasa. We do not know whether that pot had really snake or not. We do not know whether Dasa and whatever he described is true or false. We do not know. Only Dasa knows. Now, just for a while imagine that if Dasa is wrong, just for a while, just take it for granted that that pot has no snake and that pot is empty. So, and now pay attention to this line, glow of a champion. So it is also very difficult to take a glow of that thing that you have actually not done. So this is something what Dasa was a master of. Dasa had a glow of a champion on his face, but whether he is a champion or not, that he only knows. We do not know. And people in the story, they do not know. Although this is called a dramatic irony, technically. What is the meaning of dramatic irony? Dramatic irony means simply, here the situation is something that, as I said, that if you dramatize the story, then in the drama, the characters know whether there is a snake in the pot or not. But what they are doing action of knowing or not knowing. That is called irony. Why they are doing so? Because they want to show that they are actually the part of drama. Similarly, this is a bit perplexing again. But similarly, in this particular situation, whether characters know or not, whether we know or not, that is not a question. But the important thing is that Dasa does know whether there is a snake in the pot or not. And then look at the dialogue, look at the heavy tone of Dasa. What he says? He says, "Don't call me an idler hereafter." And the meaning of idler is slacker or lazy. As we know that in the beginning of the story, people were blaming Dasa and they were calling him lazy. One of the neighbors had told that you are the laziest person you are the laziest servant on the earth. So now Dasa said that don't call me idler hereafter, he said. So now, look at the action, look at the confidence, look at the grip, that Dasa has taken each and everyone into his confidence. And Dasa has finally proved it that he has caught the snake and he has a glow of champion on his face. And therefore now mother complimented him on his sharpness and wished she had placed some milk in the pot as a sort of religious duty. Now there is a turn. Now there is a twist in the story. What happens? First, mother complimented. Complimented means she congratulates that good that you have caught the snake. Mother tells to Dasa. But soon after this compliment, mother expresses her wish to put some milk for the snake. And as I have been telling you that mother's character is of religious and superstitious character. In this edition, we also know that when beggar had come, lady beggar, old beggar, that had also told mother that it is not actually snake but it is a god Subramaniam who had paid visit of her house. So keeping all these things in mind, mother right now is expressing her wish to put some milk in that pot. Now if we want to put milk in that pot, naturally we have to open it out. Naturally when we will open it out, we will be able to see the snake. So now we will know whether that pot had really snake or not. By now, there is only one person who knows whether there is a snake in that pot or not, and that one person is Dasa. Besides Dasa or except Dasa, no one knows whether he has caught the snake or not. But now, mother wants to feed some milk to that snake. So now the pot will be opened and all of us will know whether there is a snake or not. Let us have a new slide. When mother expresses this wish, what happens? Dasa picked up the pot cautiously and walked off, saying that he would leave the pot with its contents with the snake charmer living nearby. Before I explain, there is a meaning of cautiously, it means carefully. Now, soon after mother expresses her wish,